Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to Now What, the show where we explore different career pathways through career stories to help you figure out who you're. I'm your host, Yashfin,
Hi, and I'm your co-host, Chelsea.
and today we're going to be diving into the world of marketing and how to enter and break into the field. Our guest is Noah Wilburn, the founder and one person powerhouse behind I Am Creative, a media agency based in Florida that specializes in video marketing to enhance and brand content strategy. In this episode, we will be talking about Noah's journey to marketing and how to start your own journey, and how Noah took the leap into running their own agency. So let's jump right in.
Like, what would you describe like marketing in your own words, and like how would you describe like what you do today?
Yeah, what is marketing? So many, there's so many um definitions of that. I would say my definition right now of what is marketing, to answer that question, it is marketing is telling people about what you do and who you are and getting them to take action. That's marketing. Um, your job as a marketer usually is to get people in the door somehow. Um, whether it's for a nonprofit like Lifehouse, to get, you know, contributions and donations and people actively involved in serving, you guys, serving with you guys for the community, or if it's, a construction company, right? And you're trying to get leads for them so they can build homes for other people. The whole point of marketing, the whole idea behind it is to tell people who you are, what you do, and get them to get in the door. Well, that's pretty much that. And then there was a second part to your question, and I think it was,
Like, what
what
exactly
was it?
do you do?
What
Like,
exactly
how do
do I?
you? Yeah.
Yeah. So at the end of 2023, um, you know, 2023 was one of the best years for my agency, and also one of the worst. And I ended up closing my doors at the end of 2023. And I had a team of 6 people, 7 people. Um, and I was doing my podcast. We had a nice office and all the things. And but now, genuinely, I was just, again, talking about that structure, right? That I didn't learn in school or pretty much anywhere. I was just a bad business owner, like genuinely. Like I think I'm a pretty great marketer. I think I'm a bad business owner. And so, and a bad manager of people. Um, and because of that, I shut my doors down, and I pretty much took the route of just doing things on my own. And I started doing like the fractional CMO part, which is basically you're a chief marketing officer for different businesses. And I did that in 2024, and up until right now. But even at this moment, I'm actually in a position where I think I'm gonna take a full-time position as a chief marketing officer for one business. Um, and the reason why is because I need to learn structure, you know, um, and I think that's the path that God is leading me down. And so it's been a very interesting and fun evolution. Um, but as far as like what I do now, I mean, it's the same thing. I'm trying to just get people in the door for anybody that I work with. So
I I think that was very interesting to hear actually. And I think it's very reflective of you to say that you were a bad business owner at that time, especially cuz you think that was cuz of not going into school. Do you think I'm sure you're learning this as you're going on throughout the years, but how do you think you've developed or increased in structure over the years without school?
yeah, so let me correct that statement. So I wasn't a bad business owner because I didn't go to school. I was a bad business owner because I didn't understand or learn or take time to learn structure. All right. Um, and so and then you asked the question and ask that question for me again.
Okay, yeah, no, thank you for clarifying that. I think that is an important distinction to have. So I guess what I'm asking is, how have you increased in structure over the years on your own?
Yes, through failure. Um, I guess I'm that type of person, right? But through failure, but also through working with bigger organizations. So let me explain. So even right now, there's a construction company in town that I'm working with, and as their CMO. And one of the projects I've recently undertook is building out a project management system for the marketing department. Very, very labor intensive, right? Um, and some would argue, well, that's not marketing. Well, it actually is, believe it or not, because I'm basically building an agency inside of the business. Um, so in that way, I've learned structure, and I'm learning structure and like what it means to have systems and processes down to a T, to where you understand who needs to be where, right? And who needs to be doing what. Um, Another way that I've been able to be exposed and learn structure is actually through other agencies I've had the pleasure of working with in collaboration. So as a CMO, when you're sitting in that seat, most I would say 60% of your job is understanding what the business's budget is and how to spend it effectively, right? And so in that, you have the opportunity to, if they don't have an agency, and you think that, hey, we should be working with an agency that's able to execute the things and the initiatives that we have. A part of that is interviewing and talking with these agencies. And a big part of the interview process is understanding, hey, how do your systems and processes work, right? This is something that, when I had my own agency, I never was exposed or had any type of dealings in conversations like these with other agency owners. And so when you sit on the other side, because I was always selling my agency, but when you sit on the other side of an agency trying to sell you, you realize, holy crap, there's not only so much that I'm missing, but you also recognize, wow, there were some unique things that I was doing, which is probably why some of these people that we've worked with in the past like hired us. So it's very interesting. But I would say those are the two things: is working inside of the business and helping them build out their systems, but also interviewing other agencies that are doing or did exactly what you were doing, and learning about them more.
Would you say then that the route for, I would say, younger audiences, like the younger audiences we have watching to kind of find that structure, maybe not through school, would be through experience and just like asking a lot of questions to those higher than them and just really being curious and kind of diving in?
Yeah, for the younger audience, there's two things you want to do. You want to go ask questions, right? So it's like, let's just say, you're in 10th grade, you're in 11th grade. You know that you're interested in marketing. Go find somebody that's in marketing. Go talk to them. It's easy, especially in Gainesville. There's plenty of great people that are in this town that you are more than able to reach out to, um, and just call. Like, pick up the phone and call them. Like, just be brave. You know what I'm saying? Like, just step out and call the business and be like, hey, I'm such and such in this grade, and I know I'm talking to the receptionist at the desk, but I'm actually just trying to talk to the owner because I don't know. I want to get into this world, though I don't know how. You know, I would name drop some agencies of people that people could call, but I don't want to just put them out there like that. But there's a lot of great people here. But the second thing that you should do is go build something. Like, go. If you want to go sell pens, like, go sell pens, and like figure out how to get people to buy your pens. You know what I mean?
Like
If
make
you're
a
passionate about,
you would say?
yeah, yeah, of course, especially if you're 10th, 11th grade. What are you doing from 8 to 3? You're in school, right? So 7:30 to 2 o'clock, whatever it is, right? You're in school. Then what? You got sports? That's cool. You got homework? That's cool. You got time, bro. You have time. You have time. You can't tell me, bro. My brother's a junior in high school, plays baseball very, very proficiently, very great baseball player. He plays for B-Hope. And he's in school, and he does his thing. Bro, he has so much time on his hands. So if he's playing a high level sport in school, doing great, whatever, bro, you have time. I promise, you have time. So just go build something. That's all you got to do. It's easy. It's so easy. Find 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 a this is what this is how I would go about it. I would find something that I'm passionate about, right? Something that I like, and find a problem that people have, right? So if I'm driving around Gainesville, right, and I see that people have dirty driveways everywhere I go, everybody's got a dirty driveway, right? Well, I'm gonna ask, hey mom, dad, can you buy me a power washer? Or can I save us some money and buy a power washer and go power wash you know, driveways, right? And then once you have the tool, then it's like, okay, how do I tell people about what I'm doing, right? I'm gonna go put up signs. I'm gonna go, that is marketing, right? You're getting people in the door, right? So find a problem, find something you like, and go address that problem. Figure out how to get people in the door. It's easy,
That's
not
incredible.
easy.
Yeah. No, I feel like it can just be daunting sometimes, especially when you're so young. Like it kind of can be hard to like put yourself out there, but it's all about taking that first step, really. Like as you were saying, especially now when you're so young, there's so much time.
We so the thing about the school structure is that it teaches you how to get good grades, but it does not teach you how to step outside of. You see what I'm saying? I didn't finish my sentence, but there's a reason for that. Because I think you guys know more than probably the kiddos. What I'm saying is, like, school doesn't teach you all the way as it should proactiveness, right? You sit in a desk all day, you listen to a teacher, you go home, you might do some research, you fill out your papers, you do your homework, and that's it. Then transactionally, I turn in my paper, I get a grade, right? Then that grade determines how smart I am. Okay. So, like, it's not, you're learning how to push papers, but you're not learning how to go and do. That's why teachers are so important, right? And having relationship with teachers that are able to actually be human with you and not just a teacher, and push you to go do things that you are able to do. But I don't know if the school system is completely and totally addressing that. So yeah, it is daunting to take that first step, or three step.
So, with that like being said, if you were younger, what was something that you wish you were told before like entering this field? Like some advice that you want to like, I guess like give, I guess your younger self.
This might be countercultural and might even be borderline selfish. Um, but what I would say to my younger self is do everything you can first before you bring somebody on. And I say that because one of my biggest downfalls when running my agency was I was bringing people on to do things that either I didn't want to do and that I had never done before ever, but I knew that it would need it, but I didn't want to take the time to learn it. And that's laziness. So don't be lazy. Um, so max out everything that you are able to first before bringing anybody else in. And if you recognize that you're weak in something, that's fine. But in order to know that, you have to go do it first. So just do it first and max that out before bringing anybody else in there.
I think that's a good philosophy to have. Like genuinely having to like find your reliance in yourself first before relying on others is so important, especially at the end of the day, because it's your own life that you're leading. So learning how to really just rely on yourself and maxing out kind of like your stats, like you were mentioning, is the best way to go about that and finding um not finding it's nice to find help from others, but being able to do everything you can by yourself first really is a good way, and I think that applies to not just marketing, but, like, everything in general.
Bro, nobody's coming to save you. You know what I'm saying? Like, eventually you got to move out of mom and dad's house. Eventually you're going to start your own family. Eventually you're going to do a lot of things by yourself. So better to learn it now than later. Like, nobody's coming to save you, bro. So just go figure it out. Especially when you have that safety net, you know?
Of course, of course. And with that, like, kind of, like, branching out and doing your own thing, what inspired you to start your own agency and versus, like, working under an organization first? And you could, like could you, like, talk about the differences a little bit too? I think we already delved on it a little bit more, but you could
Yeah,
now.
no, it's a great question because like getting I was talking to somebody yesterday. I took my kid to the Foot Factory. I was talking to somebody, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, I have my own thing. I what did he was like, I made chandeliers and furniture for people." He was like, "I used to work for the man, but I hate it." And I was like, "That's funny, bro, because like I was the opposite. I actually never worked for the man, and now I think I am going to start working for the man." So, um, you know, yeah. But anyways, when I what inspired me to start the agency, um, it was one of my convictions. One of the problems that I saw was, you know, I had a lot of friends that were videographers, graphic designers, artists, things like that, uh, music artists, and even like painting and stuff like that, graffiti. And one of the things I saw was like, there's so much creative talent, but then I saw these businesses that like that pretty much they hold all the money, and I'm like, none of these guys are using these people. And when that bridge doesn't exist, the people over here suffer, and the people over here, though they're richer, they become duller, right? Which so there's problems on both sides. There's no provision on here, and there's no creativity over here. And so when you have that disconnect, it's like it's not a good thing, because then you start seeing apartment buildings all over Gainesville instead of people developing, you know, things that we can actually use, right? And that's a real statement that, and I stand by that. Um, so the thing that the thing that I wanted to do was like, man, if I can provide for these creatives and also work with these businesses on implementing and working with you know, us as an agency, as a team, then we can probably do some major good over the years, right? If we grow in stature and trust and money and on all the things. Um, and so I had that vision. I still do have that vision. Yeah, I mean that's what drove me to start the agency. And obviously like what's driving me now and the path that I'm on is I realize I have a lot to learn on both ends, both the creative end and the business structure end. And the best way I'm going to be able to do that is aligning myself with an owner of a business that, you know, has obviously that makes money, is able to provide. But that's also aligned with me and I'm with him, and values and values and ethics. Um, and so that's what I've done. And so the conviction hasn't ever changed. But the way that it's going about, God is using that. God is developing and changing that, for me and hopefully for other people around me as well. So I think that answers your question. I hope.
Yes, it definitely does. Thank you so much.
And as we're nearing the end, have you ever thought about quitting or changing directions in marketing and a moment that made you say, now what? Like, what did you learn from that moment?
Oh man, 2023, bro. That was that was. Oh my God, like that was. hmm. I love he get I get kind of emotional thinking about it. You know, on my LinkedIn, if you ever get curious, there's a video of me in a hoodie sitting in my office, and I was talking to the camera, and I was so real with everybody. I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing or what the heck I'm doing, sorry. um you know, that's basically what it was. And I would say that was probably the moment where I came to a crossroad where I looked at what we did and where I was, and I was like, I am a failure. Like I suck. Like genuinely. And I'm like, and I've hurt. people, and I have just, I mean, it was a mess. And at that moment, the thought of the thought of quitting, um, I don't think the thought of quitting came to mind outside of just quitting the agency. But I knew, like, and I still, I just, I cannot see myself doing anything else. Um, and I think that'll change, obviously, but I've never been able to see myself outside of like marketing ultimately. Um, and maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know, but there was a point where I was like, I'm ready to quit. I ain't creative. Like I'm ready to quit, and I did. That's the thing is like I actually quit. I stopped, and I think, and you know, I don't know if people are expecting, like, oh, you just don't quit. You never quit. You don't usually hear that, but it's like I quit, and it was like the best thing that I ever did. Um, and I didn't have to quit. I could have just kept it going, and I even tried, but ultimately I quit because I was like, this is not working. Like this is not, it's not working. But that was, I was in those moments. Like I remember talking. I had like a business coach, and I do this because he was kind of a business coach. But I had a business coach, and I was telling him everything, and I remember just talking to him, and he's like talking to me, and I just zoned out. I was like, bro, I don't know what you're saying right now, but you're like, we're just not on the same page. Like, you don't understand. I owe people so much money. I am making so much money. I still owe people so much money. I like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, I'm about to lose everything, like genuinely. And I did. I did. And you know, bridges were burned. Oh my God, it's horrible. Um, it really made me question, like, have I just been, you know, doing this out of my own ego? And looking back, I have to say the answer is yes, I was. And that's why I was brought so low in such a dark time, to where I wanted to throw it all away and chuck it. And I did. And very humbling. Very, very humbling.
No, thank you for being so personal with us. I think it's very important that people realize it's not that easy always. It really isn't. Sometimes you just got to reflect and like really say, okay, like what can I take away from this rather than just letting it be your stopping point. And I think you're a great example of how far you can go even though you've quit before and it's just a part of life, you know? And it goes to show that every flower does have to grow through dirt and before we end, could you really share with us a thorn, a rose, and a bud in your career where a thorn represents a challenge, a rose represents something positive that has happened, and a bud is something that you're looking forward to bloom in your career in the future?
Yeah, that's good. That's a great question. That's cute. I like that. I like that. I might take that from you. I'm kidding. A thorn was me, my ego, my pride, my, deception of championing this vision of, we're doing this, for other people and blah blah blah, and it just became me trying to be self-sufficient. That was the thorn, is my ego and pride. The bud throughout all that was, the I would say everybody except for a couple of people, but people that worked with me, ended up being okay. Like, I mean, there's this one guy. So we were working with Noah Lyles. He's the fastest man in the world, and got the gold medal, et cetera, et cetera. And then Kenny Bednart, second fastest man. And so one of the guys that was working with me ended up moving to Orlando and working with them. And his career has been able to just like take off from there. Another girl, she was working with me, and she, I love her. And I still work with her to this day. Um, and after everything went down, she ended up being okay. We've been able to work together on projects, and no bridges burned there. So, I mean, I would say the bud is, people were okay, and it had nothing to do with me, right? And so that's the bud. The the thing that I'm looking forward to, which what was the word for that?
Yeah. So I think what you just talked about was the roses. So like what's already bloomed, what's happy and
Yeah.
everything. The bud is what we're looking forward to
What I'm
blooming.
looking for. Oh, okay, my bad. I had
You're
that. My bad. But the thing that I'm looking forward to, um, is doing is I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's next. Um, Genuinely, like that question actually made me stop in my tracks. Like I don't know what's next, but I'm looking forward to just doing it, whatever that it is. I'm looking forward to doing it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I have great ideas. I've got opportunities. I've got security. I've got family. I've got the Lord. So I don't know. I mean, I'm I don't know. I'm looking forward to living, working, on doing everything without the thorn. I think that's what I'm looking forward to. There's no thorn, no ego,
Yeah.
no pride, no nothing. Like it's just me, bro. It's me and the Holy Spirit. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like that's it. And the people that God brings around. So um there's nothing, there's no future plan, there's nothing, there's no expectation. There is just I'm going to live and I'm going to work and I'm going to do and we're gonna have fun. That's it.
Yeah. I think that's great. I really liked hearing about your thorn, your bud, and your rose. I think it makes a beautiful bouquet at the end of the day.
Yes, and I think, like, at the end of the day, we have to remember that, like, no matter what, we're all gonna be okay, like, no matter what you end up choosing or doing in your life. But, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say you're totally right. Like you are gonna be okay. Especially if you place, everybody trusts and has faith in something, whether that's themselves, their job. If you place that faith and trust in the Lord, you will be okay. Um, there's a scripture. Don't ask me where it is, but it's in there. Um, there's a scripture and it talks about how every good work that he starts, he will see the completion. And it's a promise that's given to us through the words of more than likely Paul, through the Holy Spirit. It stands like every good work that God starts in you, he will see the completion. Um, so just hold on to that.
Mhm, of course. And with that, we are gonna bring this episode of Now What to an end. I'd like to thank you so much, Noah, for joining us, and would you like to drop, like, any socials that people can find you on afterwards?
Yeah. If you just look up my name, Noah Wilburn, if you look it up on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, you'll probably find it. So um yeah, hit me up.
Yes.
I responded
And thank
very
you so much.
fast.
Yeah. No, you're perfect, you're perfect. And I just wanna say thank you so much to our viewers for joining us on this episode of Now What, and we hope to see you on the next one. Goodbye.